Well, it's less than 24 hours. Well, a little bit more.
Yeah, we've got, oh, fuck. Now you're going to make me do math. It's like 32 hours, 32 and a half hours. It's football Christmas Eve. That's what this is. This is football Christmas Eve. And if you don't think that the draft is Christmas, then I'm sorry, but you're wrong because it is. Your team gets Christmas presents. So,
And someone's getting cold.
hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Down the Tape. It is Draft Night Eve. I will make sure I get this out to you by the end of today so that you can listen to it pre-draft tomorrow. Hector, how you feeling about the draft, bro?
It's oh my god! Finally, the anticipation can come to an end. I want to know how my team's going to look and where they're going to fuck up.
Yeah, so this is definitely on my end. And Sarah called me out earlier because we were talking about the Jets. We were talking about the draft, and our plans to go live tomorrow and whatever. And I was like, but the Jets, we're in a really good place, man. We're at the 4 and the 10. The Jets don't, all these crazy, like we'll talk again about Deebo Samuel. The Niners and Niners fans think that the Jets are going to give up like the 4, the 10, and all of these things, and we don't need to. The Jets have been drafting good. Zach Wilson played well enough. You could make a lot of excuses for him. Elijah Moore, standout receiver. Michael Carter, standout running back, had some good defensive players. The Jets are drafting good, baby. Mike Douglas, Robert Salah, and she just burst out. I didn't even say her, just laughed at me, outright laughed at me. But she goes, "You do this every year." I'm like, you know what? I'll have my lawyers contact your lawyers. How does that sound? This
I
is
mean, it is
definitely
true though.
this is definitely going to be an irrational Jets episode for me. I feel like, and the receipts are there. Like we say it every time. Week 3 and on, I'm the biggest Jets hater in the world. Month before the draft starts, I'm like, but the Jets are in a good spot. But look at
You
this.
know,
We have the
they're
building. We have the
they're a
foundation. The
pick
Jets.
away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're exactly. We're just, if we can hit the 4 and the 10, baby, we're going to the Super Bowl favorites. So we've got what's bound to be a ridiculous episode. And let us be very, very clear. We are going live tomorrow. We're going to be going live on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm trying to get us. I'm hopefully going to be getting us, and obviously on Twitch, on Instagram and TikTok if I can as well. So we're going to be live as many places as we can for the draft. Luckily, it's at 8 o'clock. Hector, you told me originally like 2 weeks ago it was at like 6:30, and I was shitting bricks about how I was going to make it on time. But luckily, I looked it up yesterday because I was like trying to figure it out. I'm like, all right, well, if I leave work early and I do this and I do that, I'm like, oh, it's at 8. It's at 8. Oh, God, thank you. I can at least make it early. But anywho, man, before we get into it, before we talk about the draft too much, you got any around the world of sports? I know we kind of talked. There wasn't too much going on, but is there anything that jumps out at you that you wanted to talk about?
Well, one, we have Tyson Fury
Yes.
KOing White in the 6th round. Uh, I don't know who's going to beat this man. He's saying he's going to retire. He's saying he might fight Nagano in some boxing MMA contortion of a match.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was saying he's done, but then he called Nagano out there and was like, well, I don't even remember what was said, but basically, promoting whatever would come next between those two gentlemen. So,
I mean, it's a huge payday. That's what people are doing now, doing these fucking payday celebrity boxing matches. So,
but I feel like this is going to be one of the better ones, though, that we've seen. Because it's not like Tyson Fury's like 6 years away from boxing. It's not like Nagano's like 6 years away from, what I mean, from MMA. Like these are relatively close to, even if, the Gypsy King comes out and retires today. I mean, he's going to be what, a year whenever the fight launches, away from boxing, so I don't know. I think I agree with you. This rise of celebrity garbage is, I don't think really, guess maybe I'm wrong. I feel like viewership is up for the sport. but I don't think it's done much for the integrity of the sport. But I feel like this would be one of the better matches under that umbrella, you know?
Yeah. Uh, Going on from there, you got the NBA playoffs kicking off. The fucking Brooklyn Nets getting swept.
Woof. Woof, man.
KD,
I
Kyrie, the passionless Kyrie,
see,
the flat Earth Kyrie.
you know, we haven't talked about passion in a while, and that's why Boston won. They just had, in all honesty, like jokes aside, they legitimately did have more passion than the Nets. It looked like, but yeah, I mean, I knew that Harden leaving was like a sign. I mean, not like the Nets have been this dominant force all year, but I knew Harden leaving was a sign of things to come. I didn't realize it would be swept in the first round. Bad.
But this is crazy because, like, you have KD shooting like shit, turnovers out the wazoo, which was just unlike him in so many ways. You got Kyrie being Kyrie. And then you got James Harden just sitting on the, not James Harden, fucking Ben Simmons, just sitting on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
One day it's his back. The next day is mental health. The next day he got a boo-boo on his toe. The next day he forgot to eat breakfast.
That was not an excuse. Was that really a fucking excuse?
The first two were.
Oh, okay. Bro, I really thought like the forgot to eat breakfast was an excuse. You were gonna have me tripped up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he has every and what kills me is that he flip-flops between the mental health issues and the back. At one point it was the back, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm not playing because of my back." This motherfucker.
Right, stick to something.
If I was the NBA, I'd Colin Kaepernick this man out the NBA. He don't deserve to be on no fucking team.
I don't disagree with you, man. I was gonna ask you, at what point do we like? At what point does the NBA like? I don't know.
You don't want to play, but then you also
him.
want to file a grievance for $20 million. Motherfucker, you not playing.
Yeah, I don't understand it, and I thought maybe something, like this trade. I'm sure like many Ben Simmons fans, thought that this trade to Brooklyn would like revive him and all these things, but clearly not. Clearly there seems to be something. There's a passion question apparently going on here. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about basketball, but the situation just does not look good for Brooklyn in the future. Clearly, it doesn't look good this season, but for the future, it's not looking great.
I don't know what they're going to do next year. I don't know how it's going to look, but it ain't going to work if it keeps looking like this.
Back to
Boston,
Jersey,
on the other hand, top defense, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart. I mean, these guys are in it to win it this year. You got the Heat beating the Hawks in 5. At least the Hawks won a game. You got, I think the Pelicans are up 3-2 on Phoenix.
What's the situation with Zion down there? He's not playing, right? Is he out for the season?
He's not playing either. That fat fuck.
What's going? I know he's had like ankle and knee shit in the past. Is it the same thing? Is he holding out? Like I just don't know enough.
I don't think he wants to be there. I honestly think Zion don't want. Zion said it from. It's always been true from going into the draft. He wanted to get drafted to New York.
I heard rumors. I think you've talked about that before.
He wanted New York. He didn't want to be in no fucking Pelicans. Nobody. Now this motherfucker's 450 pounds.
Jesus. I've heard he put on some weight. I didn't realize it. Are you fucking with me? Is that like hyperbole? Is he really 405?
No.
I see. I don't know. You could trick me enough in basketball.
He's
I don't fucking know, man.
But that's the thing. He's usually over 300 pounds.
Jesus. That's like, big for an NBA player, man. That's
what I'm saying. Like, dude,
that, but I feel like
why do you think your knees are fucking going bad?
Right.
Stop eating. Put down the fucking crawfish and the cheeseburgers, bro.
Maybe you need to be like Ben Simmons and miss a breakfast or two. Holy shit.
Facts. Learn something from that anorexic looking fuck.
Anyway, what else? What else we got? How's the rest of the NBA doing?
The fucking Memphis pulled out a fucking This is one of the greater matchups. the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Memphis Grizzlies is one of the greater matchups in this first round. It's been back and forth. Minnesota has shot themselves in the foot twice already, taking huge leads on Memphis and letting them come back to win the game. That's
Ja Morant
why
is exciting, man. Ja Morant is that dude.
Ja Morant winning Most Improved Player.
Mhm.
I don't think he should have won it. More of the fact of like you expected Ja Morant to go from this huge leap between his years getting better. Like you knew he was going to be a star. So giving him Most Improved, I don't like. It's not a shot that he's not like.
Right.
But he doesn't deserve Most Improved because like you knew from this year to this year what
There
what
was
he was
gonna be
going
a
to do.
That's fair. That's fair. I could
Like
appreciate where
Most
you're coming
Improved is
from.
for someone who had like a complete like down year or something, and then had a fucking career high. And
Right,
it's like
right,
John Morant just went from the stepping stone of like, all right, year 2 to year 3 in my career, and he's
right,
becoming a star.
right. Most improved, you don't expect them to make that giant leap. Like John Morant, okay, like, oh, you're doing better than last year, and that's awesome, but you're playing to the expectations we all had of you from the beginning, not like above where we thought you would be. I hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
I
You know
respect.
what I mean? I thought someone else should be more deserving of that.
Is there a player you had in mind?
I would give it to Alex Caruso if the man fucking played the whole season and stopped getting hurt.
Fair
Because
enough.
he elevated his game from the Lakers to being pretty much he was a six man off the bench, but pretty much a starter on the Bulls.
Fair enough.
And he
Fair
was
enough.
balling out.
I don't know enough to know, but I'll take your word for it.
Or shit, even Obi Toppins. Obi Toppins had a hell of a year.
As a
Huge
casual
jump
Knicks fan, I
from
support
his
that.
hell of a year. He might become a starter next year.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Bright future for him.
What other matchups they got going on? They got the Denver Nuggets. I think they're gonna get if I'm right, they're down 3-1 to Golden State.
Oh shit.
Golden State Golden State should end them. Golden State should end them. They don't got the manpower to take on Golden State. They pulled out the victory that won, but they don't
Not
got the
thinking.
manpower.
Fair enough.
And then I forgot what's the other matchup. I'm trying to do this off the top of my dome.
That's right. Fuck the NBA.
Fuck the NBA. No, nah, the NBA
We
is
love you, Adam
actually
Silver.
one of the better sports organizations. Well, I should say businesses.
I
Going
res-
over the MLB. Yeah, fucking, it's baseball. It's baseball, baseball, baseball. And the Yankees have been playing fucking phenomenal as of late. They started off slow. The hitting started off slow. Pitching started off pretty strong, keeping us in games, squeaking out wins
Mhm.
when the bats weren't getting hot. But now the bats are getting hot. Now the bats are getting
Mhm.
hot. They're dropping runs. They dropped 12 runs yesterday. I think they did fucking 13 runs a couple days ago. The
Mhm.
bats are heating up.
Mhm.
We
So
got
I've
Rizzo's first career 3-run home run game last night.
I saw that. I saw that.
I, I I will, however, be critical because I can do that too, guys. I'm not just a homer. Uh, any other stadium, none of those home runs would have been home runs.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
None of them
No
home
home
runs.
runs.
None, not one of those home runs would have been a home run in any other stadium in baseball.
I don't care. I love it.
Did you see the home runs?
Nope.
So the first one, he hits a fucking moonshot. And you see Santander going back to the wall, and it literally, he jumps for it. It literally drops right on the blue padding for a home run. He missed the catch. The second one, he launched that one. I give him that one. That was like 5 rows into the bleacher creatures.
Fair enough.
But the last one, Motherfucker was sitting at home plate thinking it was going to be a foul ball. You see the ball go foul, and out of nowhere, the wind just takes it. It goes squeaks past inside of the pole again, and literally again drops right on the padding. 314.
Hey, man. If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid.
Like that. Hey, I give it to him, though. Now he's the MLB leading home run leader. He got 8. I think he has 15 RBIs, somewhere around that 18, I believe. Might be 18. I also want to give props to DJ LeMahieu, my man La Machine, the Machina right there. This man is starting to heat up and be the DJ LeMahieu that won the batting title a few years ago for us. He's hitting like
LeMahieu.
340 right now. He's having, I think, a 13-game hitting streak.
Okay.
Aaron Judge, happy birthday to him yesterday. He also gave himself a birthday present with his moonshot. Going back to back with Rizzo in the, I want to say it was the 9th inning.
Okay.
Severino pitched a great game. He pitched 6 innings of no-hit ball, and then ended up giving up a single and ended up giving up a double after that. I think he gave up a run, 1 or 2 runs before he got pulled. But starting pitching when it comes to Garrett Cole, who had a great outing the other day, Severino, even Talion pitching pretty well. Jordan Montgomery the Yankees are starting to heat up, and I don't see them taking an L anytime soon.
I'm with it. The one baseball thing I want to touch base with you on is Angel Hernandez, probably the least liked officiant in all of sports, period, end of story. I saw a report that he misses 1 out of every 4 strikes. So he's got like a correct strike call of like 75% or whatever it is. So basically that he misses 1 out of every 4 strikes. Is that why is Angel Hernandez still an umpire?
Well, he's the second worst umpire compared
how, like, because 1 out of every 4, it's like, oh, okay, well, you're right 75% of the time. Well, first of all, in high school, that's a C, right? You want to do better than a C. But B, in baseball, 1 out of every 4 strikes, like, changes the outlook of a game directly.
There is a bar that they have to meet as umpires, a strikeout, like all the umps get a rating, and he's like the lowest in his strikeout ratings.
So why is
he misses the most calls?
So why is Angel Hernandez still a fucking umpire? What is going on?
We were excited for Joe West, but we're gonna be even more excited when Hernandez
retires. Oh my god!
I mean,
bro.
And you got to give it to Kyle Schwarber because he even defended the other team too. He was like, "This is outrageous. You can't get it in, out, up, down. Like this is ridiculous."
Well, that's the thing. You know, if you're an umpire with like an inside strike zone and you're calling it inside for both teams, okay, whatever. But at least you're even. Angel Hernandez's strike zone changes every pitch. You fucking never know. I swear to God, I've seen shit that was minimum 8 inches off the plate, and he punches a guy out for it.
But if you watch him too, he hesitates. Like, is that a strike or isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like what are you doing, bro?
Like it's like he's fucking umpiring while he's on LSD.
Bro, it's gotta. I just.
Is the plate moving in your eyes? Like, does it like do like the wave, and you're just trying to keep up with it?
Like, look, if you're close, like if it's, you know, it could go either way. She be what she be, right? But like some of the shit that I've seen Angel call, I'm like, bruh.
But that's the thing, like you said, like if that's the way you call your game and you call it that way every time, and people could come to the park and be like, yo, I know he likes to call the low strike.
Right.
You know, that's his thing. The low strike is his thing. Like, or he likes to call the high and in. You know, that's what this is how he does his strike zone. But when you come in and you're like, his strike zone could be anywhere from California to New York, Canada to Mexico.
I've seen him call the strike down and away on Aaron Judge that was like at his shins, about 2 inches off the plate. Okay, the 2 inches off the plate, And that's close enough. Fine. What do you want him to do? Break out a fucking 9-iron? Like, you have to. He's fucking 8 feet tall. What are you doing with your life? Like, that's Angel Hernandez is the leading argument for why there needs to be an electronic ump behind the plate, for why there needs to be electronic strike zone. You can keep the other umps out in the field, fine. But Angel Hernandez, like, if you ever get into a debate with somebody who's like, oh, no, that ruins the integrity of the sport, human error is an element. All you have to, your only argument for an
That's
electronic
not
strike
human
zone is
error.
Angel Hernandez.
That's not human error.
That's,
That's human stupidity.
bro, that's next level. But yeah, I just
That
want to see.
that
I don't
man
know if
got
you
like,
saw that report or if you saw that graphic. I don't know where I specifically saw it, but I don't know if you had seen it or if you had any thoughts on it. That's why I brought it up.
oh, I watched Kyle Schwarber throw a tantrum.
I know. I saw clips of that. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. I respect it.
But I like kept replaying, and I'm like, let me see this strike. Like maybe I can justify why he did this. And I'm just like, like Kyle Schwarber had to literally, like he has to do one of those like one hand reach out swings to
Like,
try to even
throw
make
your bat.
contact.
Yeah, throw your bat. Meanwhile, I saw, yeah, Schwarber would have had to throw his bat at it. Meanwhile, fucking Mike Trout checks a swing and gets a triple out of it. So, I mean, baseball's a weird fucking sport, bro.
God, this is
Anyway.
baseball in its purest uh uh form right here.
Yeah, yeah. Baseball, there is a lot of human error in sports. Baseball is a human error. Like, I love baseball, don't get me wrong, but baseball is truly like a sport of opinion. Like, there is very few hard set rules in baseball that it's indisputable. Fair and foul, indisputable. Catching a fly ball for an out, indisputable. Strikes, checking a swing, whether he's safe or out, as far as like
Like at
sliding
what
into a bag or something like that. Baseball is a very subjective, maybe it is, maybe it isn't sport.
like at what point do you just like look at Hernandez and it's just like, huh, maybe I should investigate him for throwing games.
Either that or at what point do you like I get being like an MLB exec and maybe not being on Twitter, right? Not listening or reading the articles or all of the shit about you. Like, I get not having like a social media presence because everybody hates you. I respect that. But at what point, like, you can't tell me, what are you just sitting at your desk going, la 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 la, I can't hear you, nothing's going wrong. Like, at what point does like you start to see shit? Do you start to see shit and go, yeah, this
Is
is
there
bad for the
annual eye
game?
checks for the umps? Like, do before every season they got to do an eye
Yeah.
check
Yeah.
for balls and strikes. You know,
I don't know.
I
It's honestly, it's getting bad for the sport. It's reasons like this that it's like, it's hard to watch the fucking
want to know
game.
what agency gave him his license because I want to know what they're calling for balls and strikes.
You know what, Angel Hernandez, if you ever hear this, you have a chance to defend yourself. We would love to have you on the podcast. We would love to. I gotta know. Rob Manfred,
Yeah.
you can come on the podcast too, but you're not gonna get treated nearly as nice. You are not. It's not gonna be as nice. Angel Hernandez will at least have a moment to defend himself. We will not let you, but love to have you on all the same. Anyway, what else we got in sports? I think that's it. I think there's soccer going on, but I don't fucking know. Really,
Yeah.
the draft is on. The draft is coming up tomorrow. That's what we need to talk about. So we'll be right back. We'll talk about the draft. And we're back, as promised, talking about the NFL draft. Obviously, we've talked about 1,000 times the Jets have the 4 and the 10 pick. They have the 35 and the 38 pick. They've got 4 picks in the top 40 picks, which is awesome. But there's a lot of things going on outside of just the Jets. I mean, we've had a crazy offseason, as far as Devontae Adams over to the Raiders, Tom Brady coming back from retirement, insert crazy fucking trade and free agency signing here. We've got 32 hours roughly. Do you think we're going to see anything crazy before the draft starts? Do you think we're going to see some moves? Do you think we're going to see something?
I think the one thing we might see is the Debo Samuel. I think if
Big one.
anything, I mean, it can wait up until X pick that
Oh,
or team
sure.
that trades for him. But I feel like they want to figure out, is he in or is he out, because they need to make the move now for a receiver if he's out.
Well, I feel like that's. But did you see that clip going around that he was in a nightclub in San Fran,
Uh,
and I guess the bottle girls brought out a sign that said Debo is staying in San Fran, and he's in the background and it zooms in on him, and he was like, he was like,
nah,
that shit's dead. I think
nah,
he's
bro.
done. I don't think, yeah, pretty much not, bro. I think Debo is done in San Fran. I think that's honestly a foregone conclusion. I know
Yeah, but
John
they're
Lynch.
asking for.
That's wild.
I mean, apparently they're not asking because they're not trading him, but the
Right.
rumors are they want like first round.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they've said, is that they want a Kings. Yeah, I mean, you're right. They've said he's not John Lynch. I can't imagine him going anywhere else. He's too good of a player. So yes, they're not trading him, with phenomenal air quotes around it. But if they were in this alternate universe to trade him, they are asking for some dumbass things in my mind. I mean, we talked about it last episode. The wide receiver class is just too deep. You're not gonna, like, take the Jets for an example. Well, we want the 4 pick. Okay, not gonna happen because I can pick a receiver at 4. Well, then we want the 10. I can pick a receiver at 10. I can pick a receiver, good receivers. I can pick at 4. I can pick at 10. I can pick at 35. I can pick at 38. I can pick, in the fucking late second round. I can pick in the early third round. Like,
Younger, faster, cheaper.
and again, I like Debo. I wouldn't personally shit on him, but if I'm Joe Douglas making the argument here, younger, faster, no injury concerns, no wear and tear as far as a running back
The
position goes.
49ers
No,
have no leverage.
none.
That's what it is. They have no leverage. It's
None.
whatever the team's going to give you.
Yeah, they have absolutely nothing. And again, we kind of touched base on it last week, about Jimmy G and Debo. They have 2 pieces that they've looked to move, and we're 32 hours out of draft night, out of round 1, and haven't moved them. Now, we've seen year and year over that these final hours, the amount of caffeine that is flowing through the NFL front offices right now is absurd. And I guarantee you there's other cocaine style products passing through bloodstreams as we speak and later on into the night, because this is probably one of the busiest 48 hours in NFL seasons, but I just feel like they've really dropped the ball, and I feel like we're kind of at a point that I don't see Debo being moved before the draft. I think he's a post-draft move, or like that second, like the Jags are coming up to pick, and like 30 seconds left out of their 10-minute timer, and boom, there's a trade made kind of situation. So that's me personally. I don't know how you feel about it, but I just feel like we're so late in the game right now, and there's been no hard bites that just doesn't make sense.
I mean, they're not going to get what they want from him. The later it goes,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
obviously.
there's no one really desperate enough
Maybe
to,
Green Bay. I
to
said it
get.
last week. Maybe Green Bay, because they don't really have many weapons over there. So you might be able to,
Yeah,
like,
but their
force
pick
them
is
into it.
what, 20 something?
Right. So I've also heard, speaking of the Jags, I've heard some rumors that nobody has given them a call for the number 1 spot. How do you feel
I
about that?
mean, this number one is not like typical number one picks.
Right.
If this draft was like a definitive quarterback going at number one, I guarantee you they get a call.
Oh, sure. Sure.
But this is a year where it's everyone else but the quarterbacks draft, and between 1 and 4, even 1 through 5, no one knows who's going to go number one.
Honestly,
It
though,
could be Hutchinson, it could be Thibodeau, it could be
Evan
and third
Neal.
name.
I've heard a lot of rumor about Evan Neal going number one. First time an O-line has gone number one since 13, I believe. Because they want to protect Lawrence. They just got him a whole bunch of shiny new weapons. And I am not saying that, oh my God, the Jags have upgraded ridiculously with Christian Kirk or, insert piece here. But I'm just saying they did went out and get him shiny new weapons. So do they build on the draft, or build on the offense and actually go out and protect him? Do they, like you said, is Hutchinson for a long time has been like the consummate number one. We saw Thibodeau slide down, and now he shot back up the boards again. Do we see a Sauce Gardner? Do we see? You're right. I mean, honestly, I'd be just as willing. You said 1 through like 5. I'd be willing to say 1 through 10 are pretty fluid right now, to be 100% honest, because I feel like I could name 10 or more guys that I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense in the top 10.
Right now, Stingley Jr.'s fucking stock is fucking shooting through the roof. They're saying he's gonna go
Skyrocket.
before Gardner.
I'll tell you, I'm not a huge fan. Like pro days, I don't think. Obviously, I've said it before. That I think the NFL Combine is more of a formality than anything else. And I don't often think pro days help your stock at all. But after Stingley's pro day, he fucking skyrocketed. I mean, it started to be synonymous with Sauce Gardner, like very quickly. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton, we said Thibodeau, Hutchinson, fucking Drake London, Garrett Wilson. I'm missing a receiver off the top of my head.
Olave.
Yes, Olave, who is a fucking speed demon. I feel like there's another receiver that I'm missing, but you get the point, right? Like there's especially with the teams that are picking 1 through 10, the Jets being twice. I feel like it's going to be a very fluid situation. I think we might see some of the longer draft clocks that we've seen in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like they get a 10-minute timer, and usually 3 minutes in, the pick is made. I feel like we're going to see a couple of them come down to 7, 8, 9, come down to the final seconds, personally.
I saw a interesting article, and they proposed a draft trade where Panthers moved up to 4, Jets moved back to I think it's 7. So they'll have the 7 and 10, and the Panthers take Stingley Jr. I think at 4. Sauce Gardner still drops to them at 7. They still get Drake London at 10.
I think London was the receiver I was forgetting before, by the way. I don't know. So I don't hate that, to be fair with you. I also don't know if the Panthers will continue to do business with the Jets after we gave them Sam Darnold. I feel like if I'm the GM or in the front office,
They decided
Carolina, I'm just gonna be like, no, I already did business with you once, and that was for Sam, and absolutely never again. Like you're done. As long as I work here, we're not fucking trading with you. I wouldn't hate that. You had mentioned in pre that you saw an op-ed piece about the Jags trading back out of the number 1 spot to the Jets. I'm sure that was just an opinion piece, because there's no way on God's green earth that rumor could be circulating that the Jets have no reason to trade up to number 1.
It had to be just the proposal that like specific analyst or whatever might have thought would be great to do, where the Jets get the number 1 and Chenault Jr. and some picks, and they got to give up the 4 and the 10 and like a second, and it was awful.
Right. No, yeah. You say it all the time. You're not on Twitter. Be very, very lucky, because there are plenty of analysts and all sorts of people who obviously know everything, and well, this would be a good pick, and
like Mel Kiper.
Yeah. Look, I'll give Mel Kiper and actual analysts some slack, because look, it is all just a fucking crapshoot. College. Hi, Christy. To the NFL, it is all just a fucking crapshoot. But some of these people, like the article that you read, well, the Jets should trade up to number 1. Why? There are literally 8 kids at the number 4 spot that I'd be happy for us to take. Honestly, the Jets at number 4 are going to be in a position of, well, fuck, do we go Thibodeau? Do we go, God forbid, Hutchinson fall that far? Do we go Kyle Hamilton? Do we go Drake London? Do we go Icky? I don't remember his last name. Inamakwa? I'm sorry, bro. I fucked up your name terribly. Do we go Evan Neal? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many fucking spots here that the Jets trading up would be ridiculous, but I could see them trading back. There's been rumors about the Cowboys potentially trading up in this draft.
To
So,
who? Because if I'm the Jets, I ain't doing business.
I mean, we mentioned the Jets a lot, but they're not the only ones that have 2
I
first
mean, the
rounders,
Giants
man.
Giants got the 5 and 7.
Yeah.
The
Eagles
Eagles got
have
the Eagles got the 12 and 16th, while the Saints got like the 13th and 15th.
this is an interesting draft first round. I think there are I read or saw a piece before that there are 8 teams without first round picks, which is like the first time since 1967 or something to that effect. So it wouldn't shock me if you see a couple of those teams try and get back into the first round. You know what I mean? Especially with a pick like number 4, or the Eagles have an abundance, or I feel like the Giants wouldn't trade any of their first rounders because they need more help than
Oh
most of
yeah,
the previous
they're
teams.
5 and 7 are both going to be offensive line.
They have to be. They have to be, especially. And look, I get hitching your wagon to Daniel Jones for one more season because there's just nobody here that I think can do that much better of a job than DJ. But they got to do something for their future because the Giants are looking rough right now, real rough.
Well, there is rumors that Baker Mayfield may be released.
Really?
If they can't figure out what to do with him, they're saying he may be released.
Now that would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
And then that just opens the floodgates for anybody to come in and swoop in and sign him up.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. And that would change, obviously, because you've got Seattle, who's looking for a quarterback. You can't tell me that they've hitched their wagon to Drew Lock. You've got the Giants, if they were to pick up Baker, could then be trying to move Danny Dimes. And that changes potentially to Seattle. That changes some things. I feel like Houston would be pretty set with Davis Mills. I feel like he played well enough last year, but you never know. I mean, I don't know. So I guess let me start this by saying, do you think we're going to see any big moves before the draft? And if so, like how many?
I think any moves that are going to happen is going to come. You're not going to see nothing. I don't think you'll see anything today. You might see something. You might see the start of something late tonight.
Okay.
Something like really, really subtle. Nothing crazy. You're going to be like, oh, they traded their swap 5th picks.
Sure. So just,
Because I already
simple.
seen that the Patriots made a little crack deal. They swapped like 5th and 6th picks with someone the other day.
Yeah, I can see that. Once the clock starts on the Jags, do you see big things happening like the second it kicks off, or are we going to wait till individual picks? Like we keep talking about the Jets trading out of the 4th. Do you think that'll happen once the clock starts, or when the Jets like get that pick, if the situation were to occur?
Speaking just of the Jets,
In general,
I think before the draft, like I said, I think sometime. What's today?
Wednesday, the 27th.
I want to say sometime tonight, you're gonna see the first big splash.
Fair enough.
Sometime tonight, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, they just made a move," and it's gonna start the little frenzy. By the time it hits like 5 o'clock tomorrow, you'll probably see another big splash.
Now, see, that I can agree with you, because always with these things, it's always once that first domino falls, once that first drop of blood gets in the water, it's a fucking feeding frenzy. And there's about 10 hours of just batshit insanity that goes on. So I'll agree with that point. Now, I was watching Get Up this morning, and I know Emmanuel Acho was saying that you'll see like 3 big player moves before the draft starts, like Debo being included in that, as far as like moving to one team for picks and blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think we're definitely going to see player moves. I don't think it's obviously going to be, and big player moves. I don't think it's going to be like a 5th round for this no name backup safety and a 2 or whatever. I think it's going to be like Debo and the 12th pick, or some shit like that. But I think that we're really going to see the madness occur once the draft starts. I think, like you said, we'll see this baby swap here, this 4th and a 6th for this 5th, and some baby stuff kind of sprinkled in there. But I think once that clock starts running, I think it's going to be showtime. And I think we're going to have one of the more exciting first round drafts that we've had in quite a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to say 1, 2, and 3, they're not going to trade those picks. They're eventually going to draft. The Jets is where it gets interesting.
2 and 3.
So it's Jags, Detroit, Texans.
Right.
I don't see them trading out. They're going to use their picks.
I can agree with that.
It's going to start at 4 at the Jets. If you hear that alert, you see that alert, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
I can agree with that. I know that we're homers, and I know that we talk about the Jets a lot, but I don't disagree with you there. They're the only team, well, they're the first team that makes sense as far as trading out of their pick, because you're right, the Jags need too much as far as like protection and defense go. The Lions, I cannot see them passing up on. I mean, on defense to start off with, but I mean, they're going to have their pick of fucking Sauce, Stingley, Hutchinson, Thibodeau, Hutchinson, I already said, if he doesn't already go number 1. They're just going to have too much that they need to not. And I agree with the Texans as well, but the Jets are the first team that makes sense to get out of there.
The Jets and then the Giants, back-to-back picks there. I forgot who's 6th. The Panthers, I think. And then the Giants again at 7. So it's going to be at 4 if that first big trade up happens.
Do you think the Giants and the Jets will trade like back, not with each other, but back to back? So we'll see the Jets trade, we'll say, out to the Panthers just for fun, and then the Giants trade out to the fucking Eagles just for fun.
I would see the Giants trading out. I think the Giants use both their picks.
Do you?
I see the Giants using because they need help.
They do.
The Giants need help.
They do, but they don't draft very well. That's their issue. They can.
Well, they got a new GM. They got a new GM. They got a new head coach. Comes over from Buffalo.
True that. And I think it's hard to miss on any of these top 10 picks. I feel like no matter who goes 1 through 10, unless some crazy ass reach happens, I think it's going to be really hard to miss on these guys.
I do see the Eagles trying to make a move because the Eagles want a receiver.
That's true.
So
you mean they don't like Jalen Reagor over there?
I see them making a move, trying to move up. I don't know where. I don't know if maybe they speak. I don't see them speaking to the Giants to move up. They're not going to. That's not going to happen.
I'll see the Giants answering that phone call.
I don't know who they'll speak to try to move up, but I can see them trying to bump up to get a receiver.
I don't know. I feel like at 12, though, you can still get a really good receiver without having to waste the capital. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've lived so many years under the Jets and they don't like giving up any of their draft capital, but I just don't see moving up for a receiver right now, but that's just me. But anyway, before we wrap this up, do you have any more on the draft tomorrow night? Any more thoughts and opinions?
Just want the Jets to get this right.
Oh my God, for real though.
Just want them to get it right.
Please,
we're gonna eight. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. It's gonna be fourth. That 4th pick is gonna come. It's gonna say the Jets are now on the clock. Then Roger Goodell's gonna walk out, and then he's gonna be like, yep, "We got to trade." The Jets, they trade the number 4 pick and the number 10 pick for Mr. Irrelevant.
Please, God, no. Oh my God. But The final thoughts that I have on it is that we will be live. I want to reiterate, we will be live. Hector and I will be a couple of minutes late, but we're gonna have Jimmy Pibb start us off. He'll be hopping on around 7:45 to start some conversations, and then once Hector and I come on, the party really fucking starts at that point. But yeah, we're gonna be on. We're gonna be live. We're gonna try and get us live in as many places as humanly possible, and we hope you guys can join us for the party. I know we had a lot of fun last year, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun this year.
Oh
Now that
yeah,
you'll be doing it from work, but it's even more of a party. That's
it's
all.
all right. It's all right. They don't need me. They don't need me.
Exactly. It's just work. I mean, this is the draft.
It's
But
work.
anyway, brother, unless you've got any more thoughts, go ahead and hit him with it.
All right, you already heard Zach. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, live. Be there or fuck you.